All right, well, we are on the pavement heading down the coastline, and man, Oregon never ceases to amaze me how beautiful it is. We had a great time with Greg. Sorry to see him go. Wish he could be going with us, but we have a long drive today, and talking with Rafael and Tammy, I'm not sure we're going to make it all the way down to the beach we were thinking of, which would have been south of the Lost Coast area. So we're going to kind of wing it again here today. We're going to just see where we land at some point in the late afternoon. And but we're going to definitely look for some sort of campsite, probably not dispersed. And so, yeah, I just don't want to be so rushed today that we feel like we got to pull in really late at night into that campground. So, especially on a Friday, which is where we're at today. So, anyway, we're going to just enjoy this drive down the coast. Stick with me, guys. I think you're going to see some amazing footage as we head south here. And yeah, it should be a fun trip. Stay tuned.
The driving distance from Coos Bay to our final destination on the Lost Coast of California was 300 miles. We had to make this distance with multiple stops to see the coastline sights and towns, as well as to put up the drone at multiple locations. Our first stop was an area just south of Port Orford, which was just the beginning of what the Southern Oregon Coastline had to offer. After you pass Myers Beach, you reach the Samuel H. Boardman State Scenic Corridor and the town of Brookings near the California border. The Southern Oregon coastline is such a rugged and majestic place, and I think the three of us were blown away by its beauty. I definitely will be back someday soon. After crossing the California border, you pass through Crescent City and almost immediately start entering an amazing area of giant redwood trees. You pass through several state and national parks dedicated to these giant redwoods, and there is ample opportunities to camp in these areas if you are interested. Further south into California, you come across the small coastal town of Trinidad, with about 400 residents. Two Spanish ships anchored in Trinity Bay in June of 1775, and upon making landfall claimed the bay for King Charles III of Spain. The region was under the control of Spain until Mexico's independence in 1821, and later became a part of the United States in 1846. The next town we came across was Ferndale. The main part of town has a very country feel to it. They have some beautifully maintained buildings lining the city streets, and we stopped at a Mexican restaurant for an early dinner as it was about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. At this point, we still had no idea where to camp for the night, but Rafael and Tammy came up with a plan for our location on the Lost Coast that was beyond my wildest imagination.
The moss on these trees is so cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty route.
The drive to the Lost Coast was just surreal. The views were spectacular, and you absolutely feel the remoteness of the area. We stopped at a historical marker for a lighthouse that was actually located 15 miles further to the north, and which was necessary due to 9 shipwrecks along the rocky waters in this area. We were still many miles from our final destination, so we got back on the road for the last push to the campsite.
All right, guys, well, we made it to our next campsite. It's not the one we were thinking we'd get to this day, but I am just blown away on this spot. The drive-in, as you've seen already, was spectacular. I felt like at times we were in Hawaii, Ireland, I don't know, just some magical place. Shades of green I'd never even seen before. And then we have this beautiful backdrop here. We are camped actually just over, if it tracks with me, just over this little hill. And, but take a look at the views from up here. This coastline is just dotted with jagged rocks. Probably can't see too well in the video, but just amazing rock formations out in the coastal waters here. Some huge, almost mountains coming out of the water, other smaller rocks that the waves are crashing over. It is a phenomenal area, and I honestly just cannot say enough about this place. It is beautiful. So I got to thank Rafael and Tammy for finding this spot. It's not the spot I was thinking of today. We just didn't want to drive that much further down the Lost Coast. And we're close. We're probably within an hour of that spot, but it's already 6 p.m. We wanted to kind of make camp for the night. We actually, as you've seen, we stopped in Ferndale for our own quick dinner. because it's been such a long day. I think we're really tired, and which is understandable. We've been driving all the way from Coos Bay, Oregon down here into California. Quite the epic road trip, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. In fact, I will be doing it again. It is that fantastic of a place to see. I would actually recommend spending 2 or 3 days exploring this coastline. Actually, at least 3 nights, if not more, if you have the time, because there are just so many places you can explore. There's coastal redwood forest here. There's these amazing dunes that you can camp on. There's these campsites like this. This is actually a BLM site. We're here on a Friday night, and there's a couple other campers here at this BLM campsite, but it's still pretty sparse for people on a Friday night. And no, I'm just so happy to be here. So I will show you the campsite here in a minute, but yeah, it's just been an amazing day. Some epic scenery. And the one story I haven't mentioned, I almost lost my drone today. So coming down that green mountainside with the ocean views in the distance, I actually lost track of my drone. It lost signal, which meant it was returning to home, which was like 3 miles back up the road, this 2-lane road. So we had to backtrack around, go back up. I was just praying that it landed where I launched it from, which was off to the side of the road, but it was actually in what you call a pullout area. And this road had very few pullouts, and it was actually an entrance into some ranch property. So luckily nobody pulled out from the ranch or into the ranch or pulled off to the side of the road and let somebody else pass. This drone was just laying on the ground there, perfect condition. But it was kind of freaking me out. And I know you can set your home point where you are, but I'd already lost signal, so it was too late to do that. And so that's a learning lesson for me, but came very close, I thought, to losing my drone. But we're just gonna kick back tonight. Rafael actually has, I think, his Starlink up, so we might get on Instagram for a little while, I don't know, but stay tuned, guys. I'll show you the campsite next. All right, so I'm on top of the hill you're just looking at here, guys, and that's our campsite. That's my Jeep there in the distance, and then Rafael and Tammy are just here to the left. There's no campsite between us. That's really just space for picnic tables and fire rings. So you can see they keep these campsites pretty far away from each other, which is really nice. And then there are a couple other vehicles in here tonight on a Friday night, which I'm amazed it's not busier than this out here on such a gorgeous day, start of a weekend. So yeah, this has just been an awesome find. Never expected to be out here. And I'm actually more impressed with the drive in to this spot. As beautiful as this spot is, the drive into this location was spectacular. And I've got to bring people back here to see this place because it is just amazing. Anyway, so we're gonna get camp going here, get set up, and I'll show you guys what we're doing next. All right, guys, so here's the campsite. We got set up for the night. I've got my diesel heater set up. Worked great last night. Expect it to do the same tonight. Hose goes up into the back with the control wire. And it's the back of my Jeep. Still have my set power refrigerator. It's been working great. And this is kind of my kitchen setup here. Got my Johnny Taco sticker. And then you can see the campground. It's really nice. So there's no camp sites between our 2 rigs, which gives us lots of space. And Tammy and Rafael are getting their stuff set over there. They got that awesome Gladiator. And then you can see the campground here. There's 1, 2, 3 other rigs here tonight. Really cool spot to be right here, just on the backside of these dunes, literally within easy walking distance of the beach. Pretty dang cool. right, well, good morning, guys. Man, it's a cold, brisk morning here on the Lost Coast of California. Just a beautiful, beautiful place. We've got the sunrise about to happen behind me here. The coastline here, as you've seen in these videos, is just incredible. I always expected this to be kind of an epic trip, but I don't know, this is even more spectacular than I could have imagined. Really, I really highly recommend doing a Southern Oregon down into the Lost Coast area California trip, and spend more time, 3 or 4 nights minimum kind of trip. But I'm glad I did it, and I'm definitely coming back. It is just a gorgeous place to see in your life, and I don't even know what else to say. I'm kind of lost for words in these places. But let me pan around here. If the camera follows me, we'll see if it tracks me here. So you can see the coastline out here. Just spectacular. It's just incredible place. So I think are going to do just coffee this morning. We've got another long drive back home today. So I think we're just going to do some coffee at our rigs. Maybe we'll stop at a diner on the way back. I'm not real sure, but just had a great time with Greg up in Coos Bay, and then Tammy and Rafael. Just cannot say enough about that couple. They are just great people, and we've had a super time on this trip. And yeah, we're gonna get on the road here, but I can't get enough of this place. Would love to spend more time, and probably we'll be back real soon. All right, everybody, it's the end of the trip. I hate to see this end like this. It was a quick trip, but man, we saw some great places. We started in Coos Bay, as you saw with Greg. What did you guys think of Coos Bay?
It was great wheeling on the dunes, so beautiful and fun.
Yeah, it was just an awesome place with the water around the dunes, going through the water crossings. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. My favorite part was you and Greg going down that little loop or hill.
That
Big,
hill.
deep hill.
Yeah. And then Greg had to go, which was too bad, but then we came down the southern coast of Oregon, which was spectacular, and then into the Lost Coast of California. You guys found this amazing spot, which is just fantastic.
It is. It's beautiful.
Right on the other side of the.
Been here more often.
Yeah, right on the other side of the berm is the ocean. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, for a Friday, I expected this campsite would be packed, but there's only a few campers here, and you have the whole coastline to yourself. It's just an incredible location.
I think this is like the locals only, because there's no signs for this campground.
Yeah, there wasn't very much in the way of signage coming into this place.
We were a little worried when we started driving in, and then about a quarter mile up, we saw a sign, firewood for sale. We're like,
that's a good sign.
That's a good sign. That's really a good sign. So, yeah, and almost the drive-in was more spectacular to me than the beach. The beach is incredible, and the views.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The drive-in here was just crazy beautiful. So, anyway, guys, we had a great trip. Greg, it was great seeing you again. And
Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
Take care, Greg.
Look forward to seeing you guys again. And so, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. As I always say, hope to see you on the trail someday.
See you.
Bye.
See ya.
We got 5 miles of this, and then we're going to turn right on the Avenue of the Giants.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you missed part 1 with Trail Newbie in Coos Bay, please check it out in the end screen link. Liking and subscribing is always appreciated, as well as leaving comments. Thanks again.